And let me turn this music up, man. First of all, shout out to everybody, man. I see Affy Kingdom in the building, man. Shout out to Affy Kingdom, Raven Knight, Blue Devil G, especially hey Affy. Salute, fam, man. I see you with the big gold belt every single time. Every time my homie's live, man. And this is something, man. Hey, more than likely, bro, I'm gonna rebrand all of my shit for the rest of the week. Like this shit gonna be in all red and yellow, or we gonna go straight Hollywood with it. And y'all know I got a marketing segment coming up, like a marketing series that I got coming up. You know what I'm saying? And most definitely, you know, the Hulkster is going to be an entire show when it comes to that shit, man, because regardless of whether you like that man, you don't like that man, heels, baby face, fuck all that. That man changed an entire industry. That man changed a bunch of shit. For all of us 80s babies, man, we know. And for all of these motherfuckers on YouTube, a large percentage of y'all, let's just keep it 100. Most of your mic skills came from that nigga, man. Came from that man. Like, it can't like cutting promos, all of the branding, all of that shit. Like this is where it starts. I know how much inspiration that I took just from the special events, the purge, all of that shit. When it comes to, and I never even made that a secret. Like one of the things that I've taken from that shit was like WrestleMania, you know, and this man headlined, what was it, like the first nine WrestleManias, you know? So that's why I said like him or don't like him, whatever. I know he said some controversial things and done some controversial things and all of that, but that man took branding and marketing to of oneself to an entirely different level. Like it's Hulkamania. Can you feel it? Like real shit. What up, GG? I see you. You know what I'm saying? I see you. Yeah, it is. But hey, on a positive note, though, Hulk was 71 years old and he was able to die just like I guess most of us would want to go out around family and loved ones, in his mansion in Clearwater. So rest in peace to the immortal, or not so immortal now, Hulk Hogan. But that legacy will most definitely be immortal. That shit is never going anywhere. That man's stamp is all over the place. Just like Austin, Texas 21 just said, AWA, WWF, WCW, NWO, WWE, TNA, and it was even felt along ECW, New Japan, like you name it. The entire industry, of sports entertainment was totally revolutionized, by that man, and the effect that just he had, not even just on his industry, but multiple other industries. When you're talking about even the post game press conferences that you see people with other sports, people walking in when they have the shots of guys walking in from backstage and all of that shit, like for real. I can remember what was it, fucking late '80s or whatever. I remember seeing Hulk wrestle in Madison Square Garden. Um, and just the pop when that music played. Like I can remember that just as a kid, you know. And you know what I'm saying? Old boy is definitely gonna be missed. And bro, it doesn't ain't nothing to hurt. I mean, that man lived a long, fruitful life. At 71 years old, traveled the world, and is gonna have a legacy that lives on. So, you know what I'm saying? This is a time for, believe it or not, this is a time for celebration. Of course, his family's gonna mourn. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna mourn the death, but you celebrate a legacy like that. You know, like you celebrate a legacy like that for real. And most of us, that's how I know. That's how I want to go out. I'm like, yo, when it comes time that I'm not there, I know initially I can't tell, my friends and my loved ones, exactly how to mourn or how to heal. But after the services are over, I would appreciate if y'all can celebrate. You know, cry for me, but then y'all make sure y'all go party. Y'all make sure y'all go drink. Y'all make sure y'all dance. Y'all make sure y'all blast that music. If I gotta look down on y'all from up above or from below, hopefully from up above, I want to see nothing but smiles. In my memory, I want to see nothing but smiles. I want to see everybody having a good time. I don't want to see no tears. So, what I'm saying? The Hulkster, he's got a legacy that, what I'm saying, we can celebrate. We don't it's not a painful legacy. And that's a fact, Gigi. Whether you like him or you don't like him, that dude is an icon. And like I said, there's a lot of folks, even on YouTube, don't make it seem like y'all ain't get. Even if you, a lot of folks don't even know they got their inspiration from him. A lot of this is like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper type shit. You know, real shit. This is like your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. you know, That's why I said, man, shout out to Appy Kingdom, man, the first one in the building. And I'm probably going to rebrand everything for the rest of the week. We're going to rebrand it all in red and yellow. And I will be doing an entire show dedicated to Hulk Hogan and his just legacy as far as what it had, the effect that it had on me when it comes to just marketing, branding oneself, monetizing those mic skills, all of that stuff. For real, for real. You know, like that was a game changer. That was just a game changer. And like I said, for those of us 80s babies, 90s babies, trust me, this had, that man had some kind of effect on you. You know what I'm saying? Or your childhood, growing up, just some kind of effect, on it. You talking about, you didn't even have to be a professional wrestling fan to recognize that face, to recognize that music. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, and the main reason why I can do an entire segment as far as Hulk Hogan's, marketing, like you talking about the marketing and the branding and the ability to be able to rebrand after like 30 years in the industry and the shit still be ill. Still be ill. So rest in peace to Hulk Hogan, what I'm saying, aka Terry Bollea. Rest in peace to Scott Hall. You know, but today, rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. He was the only one. Let me read a few of these comments. I'm not gonna be able to stay up here long. I got an appointment that I gotta handle in about 10 minutes. But yeah, yeah. He said, "Salute, Auntie. I'm mourning with my wrestling family. Hulk Hogan, rest in peace." For real, man. You know, for real. That man literally saved an industry, saved multiple companies. Inspired a lot of people that are making multi-million dollar livings right now. Like this dude did for the industry of professional wrestling and sports entertainment what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan did for professional basketball. For real, for real. Like the ability for these guys to be able to make millions of dollars and fly on private jets. You know what I'm saying? And negotiate a percentage of revenue at the door and all of that, and to headline it and all of that shit. So when you see guys like The Rock and John Cena, man, shout out to The Rock. But at the end of the day, where you think that man really like the bare bones roots and and and, and just just the the DNA of that man's brand and character. Where you think it came from, man? You know, where you think it came from? All of these professional wrestlers and shit in Hollywood. You know, Hulk Hogan was the first one that was able to go to Hollywood, transition. That man actually got fired by Vince McMahon Sr. for appearing in Rocky 3. Vince McMahon Jr. had to rehire him back. He got fired because they was like, yo, if you go, this is kind of like bad for the business. You know, if they got to see professional wrestlers on on um on television and in movies and all of that other shit. So if you're gonna be a wrestler, you're gonna be a wrestler. Hogan still did that shit and was still able to come back because Vince McMahon, the Vince McMahon that y'all all know, you know, hired him back. And now, because of that, that's why you're able to see guys like The Rock in all of these movies being able to make all of this damn money and shit, or John Cena being able to do all this shit, man, or Dave Bautista. Yeah, yeah, y'all would be amazed. Didn't know you was a wrestling fan, bro. Nah, for facts, bro. Facts, Happy. Have been all my life, dude. You know, well, I'm not gonna say all my life because I stopped watching it probably in like the early 2000s. You know, when they really, really like Mickey Moused it up. You know, Mickey Moused it up. But you know, Hogan and shit was way past his prime. You know, back then. You know, you need to tell you damn right I'll tap in. I can't really tell you much about what's going on these days or even the last few years. Like it's kind of like a diva thing now. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to talk about stuff from the 80s and 90s, hey man, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for it. You know, the entire wrestling world is reacting right now. Sent Ric Flair a note. You know what I'm saying? He held me as a baby. Woo! And trust me, man, we gonna do the same thing when you know what I'm saying. I mean, knock on wood, man. We don't want to see that, but you know what I'm saying. If when Ric Flair, you know what I'm saying, when he go, you're gonna see the same thing, man. The same thing because these guys changed the game. Like they really did change the game as far as just branding, marketing, microphone, promo skills, being able to just become larger than life icons and being able to do it with their own charisma and their want to be able to entertain the crowd. So if anybody, if any and everybody, especially those of us on YouTube, or just on social media in general, you know, if we can do anything, you know what I'm saying, to cherish that man's legacy, put on a motherfucking show, brother. You know what I'm saying? For real. Put on a goddamn show. Cut a promo. You know what I'm saying? Excite the crowd. I don't give a damn if you got 5 people watching you, 15 people watching you, 20 people watching you, 20,000 people watching you. Put on a show that them people will never forget. You know? That will never forget. Do something that even if it inspires one person in the audience years and years and years later, you know what I'm saying? Give them something because sometimes I can remember as a kid, look, it was those times when um you know, WWF, WWE, whatever, they might come to your town shit once every 2-3 years. You feel me? Once every 2-3 years. Yep. But no matter what, yo, guys like that made sure that, hey, if you only saw them once every 2-3 years, they was gonna give you something that you can remember, whether it was that crowd pop, whether it was the finish, whether it was just the photo op. You know, you see the cameras flickering and all of that shit. You know? So, that's all I got to say with that. You know. So now, hey, if you can't give props to him, then don't. It's all good. But we're gonna celebrate a legacy. You know, we're gonna celebrate a legacy. Because just like I said, them promo skills, those mic skills, the branding, the marketing, the all of that, you know, you know, if you can't take any positives from that shit, then chances are, the glass is always half empty for you. No disrespect to you, but you can't take any positives. That's why I say like him or hate him. You know, that man changed industries. That man changed industries that you do like. Characters that you do like, entertainers that you do like. Most of them have taken some kind of inspiration, shape in some way, shape, or form from that man and what the hell he was able to do. On the microphone. So it is what it is. You know. So, like I said, I'll be more than happy to rebrand my stuff you know what I'm saying, in red and yellow. You know what I'm saying, for at least the rest of the week. You feel me? What we got to say? Rest in peace to one of the greatest legends, not just in wrestling history, but sports entertainment and entertainment history. Like, this is a pop culture icon. You know? Well, you know something, Auntie. Yeah, you know something, Mean Gene. You know something, brother. Yeah, all of that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? The catchphrases. You feel me? The catchphrases. The crowd pop. All of that. So, like I said, a lot of people are taking inspiration, and the reason why these guys are able to make millions of dollars and fly private and have mansions and stock options in a publicly traded company now like WWE is because of guys like this. You know? So, like it or not, like it or not, that's a legacy that's like, so you would have to have an industrial strength damn continent size eraser to be able to like tear down or get rid of that man's legacy. You can't do it. You can't do it. No. When it comes to branding, marketing, rebranding, you know, and something that's gonna live on even after you're gone. So if you can't take anything from it, that's really what it is to build a legacy. Something that's gonna be here when you long gone. And whether you like this man or not, his legacy is still going to be here, you know, when and now that he's gone. Oh, it's still gonna be here. It's not going anywhere. Mm. It's not going anywhere, and it'll be remembered for more positives than negatives. You trust that. You're gonna see all types of stuff popping up in your algorithm. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks saying he was a liar and this and that and personally and all of that stuff. Man, we already know what's up. In professional wrestling, you play a character. You know, in entertainment, in the movie industry, you play a character, and nobody played the character of Hulk Hogan better than Hulk Hogan, and a lot of people have tried. You know, a lot of people have tried. You know, like you talking about being the number one baby face in the game, and then the number one heel in the game, and then back to being the number one baby face again. Like, man, that shit will never be paralleled, man. It'll never be parallel. When the NWO formed, Harley Davidson saw sales increase like none other. Man, shout out to that, man. You know what I'm saying? When you go from having a damn rock track like Real American is your damn theme music to coming out with that damn with that Voodoo Child. You know what I'm saying? That Jimi Hendrix. You know, like, come on, man. Come on. What up, Choco Kitty? You know, I'm putting Real American and Voodoo Child on repeat for the next week. Facts. And don't forget what because remember they couldn't use Real American when he went to WCW. They had to they didn't have the rights to that. You know what I'm saying? Because Jimmy Hart had composed it and shit. I think it was Jimmy Hart or Jimmy Johnson or something like that that had composed it or helped to do the you know what I'm saying? The Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but I know they weren't able to use it in WCW because the WWF still had the rights. So then they had American Made. So make sure you throw that on repeat too. The American Made track. You know, shout out to that boy, man. What's up? What's up? You know. Well, now Jimi Hendrix is already over. Jimi Hendrix was already over. You know, and that's a fact. H&M. Definitely the American Made. I'm a little bit behind in the comments, but also Bobby Heenan was only longest heel ever, more than his short time as a good guy. Facts. Ain't too many ain't many better heels than what I'm saying Bobby Heenan or whatever, and guys like Jerry Lawler and shit like that. And even, I remember Scott, even Hulk Hogan had to admit that Scott Hall taught him how to actually go heel, because he was scared to go heel. If y'all remember that. You know, he was scared to go heel. He didn't know. He thought that was going to be bad for his career and everything else. But he did it and pulled it off. You know, pulled it off. You know, so like I said, we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff later. I can't really stay up here much longer. I'm going to have to get up out of here. Well, let me read a couple more comments. Hogan being the bad guy was not his first or second time. In 1995, he was all black, dark side Hogan, and his 1995 match against Sting was another of that proof. Yeah, facts, facts. I might have to go back in the archives. That was a small thing. You know what I'm saying? That was a small thing. You know, I'm sorry. As far as the time frame, you know. TKO took over WWE, so WWE might be dead out of business in the next 1 or 2 years. It's gonna be tough. What's up, Bridget? It's gonna be tough when I'm saying they're publicly traded and everything like that. But like I said, you're gonna see a lot of tributes. I'm saying to that man, and trust me, that's just so small. Such a small thing. And I'm saying shout out to all of them. I'm saying usually, they a lot of times I'm saying they don't make it very far. When there are you know issues as far as like travel and stuff like that. But I'm saying these guys were dedicating 250, 300 days a year, out of the year to entertain kids and put on a show. Hulk Hogan comes from a day and age where they were true to the business. What I'm saying, they were true to the industry, and they made sure that they tried to keep up that facade, even though these guys are homies and they shaking hands and traveling in the same cars and shit like that. What I'm saying, they still had to come out there and put on a show as if they hated each other and as if they were trying to really hurt each other. What I'm saying, they came out there like they were literally trying to injure each other and fuck each other up, but yet they were able to put on a show that made kids and some motherfucking adults even think that it's like, damn. What I'm saying? These guys are really trying to hurt each other, but in actuality, people are really trying not to hurt each other, man. And you just got to respect that, because they were able to do that. They were able to do what they call storytelling. Storytelling. What I'm saying, in the ring with just, what I'm saying, body language, with promos, what I'm saying, with breakaway chairs and tables and all of that shit, man. You know? So that's something that we are gonna, somewhat discuss. You know, we are gonna discuss that. And yeah, the NWO theme, like that shit was straight up greasy. Put it all on repeat, man. Put it all on repeat. Voodoo Child was, and yes, it was, man. That shit was perfect. That shit was perfect, man. No, that was perfect. And at the end of the day, not only did Hogan put himself over, that motherfucker was able to. He put a lot of motherfuckers over too. He put a lot of folks over, man. You know, he put a lot of folks over in the industry, and he didn't have to do that. Now, granted, there were a lot of people that he didn't put over. There were a lot of people that he didn't put over. Definitely did try to, protect his own image out there. But there were a lot of folks that he did put over, and there were a lot of folks that are still in the game today that had to take their inspiration from either him You know what I'm saying? And they brands, the roots of it are embedded in, you know what I'm saying? Like the DNA is red and yellow. And if they didn't take it directly from him, they took it from somebody that took it from him. You know, for real, for real. So, we're, guys like me, we get into that age where, unfortunately, you're attending more funerals than you are baby showers and more weddings. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. So, we're gonna celebrate. You know what I'm saying, that legacy and everything that he did. At least that's what I'm gonna do over here. So, people are entitled to their opinions, but we know what it was. On that note, man, I got to get up out of here. He had his picks, but it worked out. Facts, Emperor. Facts. Yeah. Facts. Yeah. Facts. Y'all have a good day. I'm gonna be back. Y'all make sure, man, hit the membership link. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be talking about a few things later on this evening. Once I finish working, I'll be back up, man. Y'all have a good day, man. Peace.